Welcome to the Savage Productions YouTube channel.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Savage Productions YouTube channel. I am super excited because this is the video where we start this thing. We got quite a bit of work left to do to it, but we have today and tomorrow, and we are going to get all of this assembled. That's the plan. Here I have my alternator and alternator bracket that I've painted up. I just got all the masking tape off and everything. Looks good. All my exhaust, drive shaft, and then of course the transmission mounts and everything. Transmission sitting over there. Got the fluid in the box. Have more parts we need to put on. Have other more parts we need to put on. Everything's just kind of scattered, but there is a method to the madness. So update right now, if you haven't seen the previous videos, which I'll link one of them right here. The heads are on, the headers are on, bell housing's on, clutch is in, everything like that. It's all done. To finish this up, we have to put the transmission in, then we have to put the drive shaft on, and then once all that's done, we can actually torque down this balancer bolt. And this is what this piece of tape is there to remind me that we have to torque that down still. So once we do that, then we'll put the intake on. We want to put the intake on after we do the transmission, because we actually have to like lean the engine back, and it's easier to put the transmission in that way. If we leave the intake off, then we really don't have to worry about how far we can lean it back when we lean it back. The one thing that is going to take a seriously long amount of time is actually putting on all the rockers and whatnot, because we have to adjust them perfectly. So these heads don't have, you know, the rocker arms and push rods in them yet, but we have to do that before we put the intake on. So that part is going to take a very long time because the tolerances are going to be super tight, so we just have to make sure everything's right. So that's actually going to come before the intake and everything. But besides that, it is seriously close, and I'm telling you, today and tomorrow we're going to get a lot of work done. If we don't start it up Sunday, then we're going to do stuff during the week, and it's definitely going to be started up next week. Unless we run into some major catastrophe, which, cross my fingers, that's not the case. Startup is going to be this weekend. So be hyped for the rest of the video. Personally, I can't wait to see how it's going to sound and how it's going to turn out and everything. I mean, it's a 728 lift cam, so this thing is just going to thump like crazy. So I'm really excited about that, guys. It's been a long time in the making. I've really wanted to have it running a lot sooner than, you know, this weekend. But, I mean, as of right now, it's like mid-July, which that kind of sucks. But, you know, it's all part of it. So we'll still have some races that we'll be able to get to by the end of the year. Hopefully I'll be able to get it tuned on E85 before the end of the year, and then I'll actually be able to run it hard. But then I still have a fuel system that I need to upgrade in order to run E85 and support the amount of power that I need to when I put nitrous on the car. So this year is probably not going to have nitrous on it. It'll probably start next year. So my hope is that during the winter I can actually get a cage put in it and everything. And another couple of things that I have to do, I probably should upgrade the brakes. We're still on factory brakes, so we got disc brakes in the front and drums in the back, which, I mean, it doesn't stop great. There's a chance that we might have to convert to manual brakes because we might not have enough vacuum with that 728 lift cam. So it'll be really fun if we have manual brakes with what we have here. So that's going to be something that's probably going to have to be upgraded. It's a beautiful day, but it's hot as hell, so not really excited about this. This fan is going to be on probably the majority of the video, so I'm very sorry if you get tired of hearing the fan. I'm actually waiting for my dad to get here because he has all the fittings and everything for this, which we need to use this to actually heat up red Loctite that I put on the pivot ball for the bell housing. We actually have to shorten that ball a little bit because the clutch fork was getting really close to hitting the pressure plate. So we're going to do that when he gets here, and then just start assembling the rest of the stuff. So stay tuned. All right, good news. We got the torch, and we were able to heat up. Let me get in here. Ow. We were able to heat up that little black thing right there. Point at it. Yeah, right there. Able to heat that up because that's where the red Loctite was for that little ball. And now Dad's able to screw it in.
It's got your little fancy little tool you made here.
Just had to take one of the Allen wrenches that I had and cut it off to where we can actually fit it in there. But luckily it worked. I cut it off first try, just a little bit of left on that bend, and we were able to fit it up in there. So
We're totally out of threads here.
yeah.
And that's another thing too. Look, there's not much distance there for it to pull in without hitting So we're gonna have to go back out.
Yeah. It might have been perfect right where it was.
I don't know. It was pretty. It was really close.
Well.
So let me go ahead.
Alright, we're going to screw it back in, or back out. Alright, so we got the little pivot ball screw thing, whatever it is, kind of in a spot where we think it might work. And we're going to put the clutch cable on, and I'm going to push it in, and he's going to reach up in there and try to feel the clearance, and my job is to not take his hand off. So we kind of ran into some issues with the clutch. It's not so much the clutch, but the clutch fork. The clutch fork was actually hitting the pressure plate pretty much no matter where we put the pivot ball. So we're going to have to straighten out that clutch fork somehow. Wherever it is, down there. We have to straighten it out so that bend isn't in there, and then hopefully that can help us out. Another thing that we have to do is kind of better clearance these headers with the new oil pan. So if you can see right in there behind the torch, this header was actually hitting the oil pan. There was no gap in that gap that you see. So we've actually been heating it up. We ratchet strapped here and up here, and we just kind of worked back and forth until we couldn't really pull it anymore. And then we heated up the actual header, and then now it's cooling off on that side, and we shoved a piece of wood in there and everything, and the ratchet's still on, so it's being held this way. So hopefully the idea is that when it cools down, the metal will still be formed like this, so then we won't have any clearance issues on the oil pan. And then another thing that we need to do is actually take this collector and move it back that way. So we have this ratcheted over here to the body, and now he's just heating up around the 4 different tubes going into the collector. And then after this, we're going to ratchet this back that way, and it needs to go over, I think, about that much. So we got a little bit to go. He's been heating up for a little while now. Let's see. Oh yeah, it's definitely helping, because before we pretty much maxed it out. We haven't really gotten much else done because all this stuff is taking a lot of time, which kind of sucks because everything else is still just laying over here on the ground. But that's all part of it. Gotta do it right. Okay, so he is done heating it up, and that is super hot right now, so I'm not going to touch it. So the gap between the oil pan and the header kind of closed up a bit, but we actually have a gap, which is completely better than what we had before. Of course, everything's still wedged in there, and this one's still holding it, so who knows, when we let it go, it might just go back to where it was, which then it would be a waste of time. But hey, at least we tried. So we're going to let it cool, and then get rid of this one, and then take this one back and get rid of the wood. And I'll show you where it ends up. Well, we got everything unhooked, and we pretty much didn't have any clearance, so we saw that was going to happen, so we went ahead and just triple wrapped it with header wrap here, so that way it's not, you know, the header just hitting up against the oil pan, and you know, hopefully the heat from the header is not going to be boiling the oil. All right, so we pretty much got everything underneath the car done that we can get done today, which kind of sucks because we wanted to be able to put, you know, transmission in and all that stuff, but he's going to take the where's it at? He's going to take this home, and we got a neighbor who has a press and a really hot torch. So if we can get this nice bend out of it and just kind of lay it, you know, make it flat, then we should be able to make this work with a clutch in there. So he's going to do that, but for now, I think we're going to start on the Valvetrain. And then once we get all that assembled, then we can do the intake. We'll probably do the intake, I'd say, tomorrow. Alright, so we are now putting on the rocker arm studs. We just got this one done. It took like, what, 30 minutes? They take a long time because you got to make sure that, you know, the push rods like perfectly centered, and then the back of the rocker arm, the actual roller tip is sitting on top of the valve, kind of in the center. So get that one done. I'll record the second one, show you how long it takes. Alright, so this is the process for securing these rocker arm studs and getting them set up in the right place. So first things first, we got to put the guide plates kind of semi on, and then he's putting the white thread sealer on the intake, because the intake side actually goes into the port, the exhaust side doesn't. So we're doing the thread sealer on the intake and blue Loctite on the other.
And then lube the top of the guide plate.
Oh yeah, he's got oil on the back, or on the top of the guide plate. So just kind of put it in there and back it off a little bit so you can twist the guide plate with your fingers. So I want to take the push rods and blow out the oil passage to make sure there's nothing in it. Kind of barely snugged up the rockers studs there, and then put the push rods in. I was going to slide the rockers on. And then from this angle over here, he's going to be making sure that when he slides it left and right, that the roller is actually in the center of the valve tip. How's it look?
That could look like it's pretty straight right there.
Concentration.
Move over a little bit more.
I have 15 seconds left on this 10-minute recording limit that I have on my phone.
Well, you gotta stop it.
Well,
Continue on here, man. I gotta tap it back over.
okay, 10-minute recording number 2. Probably have to fast forward through most of this.
Okay.
Didn't move that time. Hopefully you didn't already push it past 55.
Oh no.
55 is weak sauce though. Okay.
That's pretty good.
Alright, we got that one. Now we just gotta torque it down. Alright, so he got it all set up. Now the last part is torquing it down and then answering his phone. Which we're doing 55 foot-pounds, what's calls for, so. And that's it. But for now, I actually have like 10 seconds left of memory on my phone, and I need to upload all this stuff to Google Photos tonight. So I think that's going to be it for the video tonight. I'll catch y'all tomorrow. Hey everyone, we're off to a good start on day 2. Dad just got here a little bit ago. But while he was gone, or while he was on his way here, I actually put on all the rest of the rocker arm studs and guides for the push rods. Also, we have the resolution to our problem that we had yesterday. Dad brought the welder and he welded this up. He took the clutch fork home with him and he cut grooves in the side, and then he used the press to straighten it out. So it was bent like this on the end, but now it's straight. So he took it over here, he welded it up, and then we just covered the bare metal in a little bit of spray paint so it doesn't rust. But that should solve our issues, and then we'll be able to put the transmission in hopefully today. But for now, we already got all of this stuff done, so we're going to go ahead and throw the rocker arms on, get all those adjusted and everything, and then we'll be ready to set the intake on. Alrighty, well, we got the rocker arms on, everything's adjusted, we got the rocker stud girdle on and everything. Dad actually just went inside to go to eat some leftover Chinese food. After he's done with lunch, we're going to see if the modifications to the clutch fork work. We got it all adjusted where we think it needs to be, and then you know, we're going to pull the clutch and then measure like see the gap in the back of there, and if it hits anything on this side, and if it doesn't, then we'll be good, and then we'll be ready for the transmission. Alright guys, we got the situation figured out with the clutch fork, so we're going to go ahead and throw the transmission up in there. I already put 2 quarts of this G-Force racing lubricant in there, and then now we actually have to put synthetic ATF in. Alrighty, well, we got transmission up in here. Just tidying up a little bit of wiring, and we're going to throw the O2 sensors in. Go ahead and get all this wired up, and then we actually have to tighten the motor mount bolts again to be able to raise all this back up. And then I'll put the shifter on, and this will all be done. Then we'll be able to put the drive shaft in. Probably put the drive shaft in, torque down the balancer, and call that a day, I'd say. Alright guys, so that's gonna do it for today. But this video, we are gonna get this car running. So what do you say? When are you gonna be back over here so we can finish up?
Next year.
Are you tired? We got the transmission in, got the shifter in, so all that's done. The drive shaft is up in there, but we need to actually clean out the bolts because they were really hard going in from all the previous Loctite that was on them. But yeah, I got all the Valvetrain on and everything, and she's ready for the intake. Also, I finally got the balancer torqued down, so we're good to start assembling all the front of the engine once we get that intake on. So it's really not that much farther. Someday after work this week, we'll be able to get it all running again, and then probably going to be doing lots of street car events with his car.
Yeah, we there's a lot of them going on, man. Shit.
A lot of them in Bowling Green.
This weekend, the Muscle Car Nationals, right? That's
Muscle car.
Is it Muscle Car?
I don't know what's going on this weekend.
Yeah, this weekend is the Muscle. Well, this weekend was the Camaro deal in Bowling Green. Next weekend is the Muscle Car.
The Carcraft.
Carcraft, that's it.
Carcraft Nationals.
Yeah, but it's Carcraft Muscle Car Nationals. I think.
Yeah.
But a lot of older cars, but newer ones are there too.
Right.
And then it's Street Car Takeover after that.
Yeah, we need to make it to that.
And then
we always try making it to that.
And then after that, it's NMRA, and all of them are at Bowling Green. I would like to own Bowling Green right now.
Yeah.
They got a lot of events, man.
Are you coming to LS Fest with us? Thinking about it?
Yeah.
Might take his car down. Yeah. Not that we can race at LS Fest, but we can have some fun in Bowling Green, Mexico. So that's going to be it for today, and I'll see you in a couple days. Hey everyone, it's Wednesday. It's about 9:45 at night. We got a couple things done on the Mustang. Dad got the drive shaft all tightened up and everything. And then I did the steering rack. So got the steering shaft in, got it all buttoned up and everything, all tightened up. We were able to get the dipstick tube in and bent around and all secured and everything. So that's good. Got the oil filter on, put all the oil in the engine. And we have the gaskets on the intake here set up. And then for these parts and the one in the back, we're going to be using the Right Stuff by Permatex. Just a nice thick bead of that. And then drop the intake on. And make sure that we get this little this hose on first before we actually set it all the way down, because that's a little difficult to do with it all the way down. But we're gonna send it. All right, it's now 11:30, and after we put the other gaskets on, we put silicone on the bottom of them. So we decided to just have those set up a little bit. So we ate some dinner, and now he actually just put the Right Stuff on there, thick bead on the front and back, and we need to do this within the next 5 minutes so it doesn't set up. so we got the intake on, looking great as always. Went over without a hitch. So once all the right stuff in there dries, we'll probably just, you know, scrape it off so the distributor has no problem going down. But yeah, looks good. Really not a whole lot to do now. I mean, we pretty much got all the annoying stuff out of the way and everything. My lighting guy over here. So, you know, need to prime it, then put the distributor in, put the upper intake on and everything, and then just assemble all the front of the engine. And I say we could do a lot of that tomorrow, right? You're coming over?
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, it's only like one bracket with everything on it. Well, alternator.
Yeah, and then we got the AC bracket over here. Of course, still running AC. Oh, we got to put coolant in there. That'd be good. Radiator, etc. But all that'll be coming tomorrow. So catch you guys then. Hey guys, what's going on? It is Saturday, so I told you all we were going to get this car running in this video. Right now I actually have the live stream going. We are currently taking the spark plugs back out, so we're able to turn the engine to top dead center, because so much compression with the spark plugs in, it's actually not really able to be turned just by the crank bolt here. So that's doing that right now, and then we'll put it on top dead center, prime it probably a little bit more, and then put the upper intake on, put all the spark plugs in and everything. Put the plug wires on, cold air, and that's it. So right now I actually have the mufflers just kind of bolted up to the headers here. We had problems fitting that X pipe on with the way that the oil pan kind of pushed that other header out. So just to kind of quiet things down a little bit for this first startup, I bolted these on there. But we actually put 4 gallons of 93 mixed with about 3/4 of the butane over here. So we're hoping that gives us a mixture of about like 104, 105, 106, somewhere around there. Because 12.7 8-to-1 compression, we probably want to be right around, honestly, probably 108. But didn't have enough butane for it. So at least to get it running, we might back the timing off a little bit, but we'll see what she does. All right, so we are about to actually start it. There's a clown outside, apparently. So he's setting up the timing light. Ben's here just doing nothing, and Sierra's actually going to record while I start it from inside. So let's send it.
Chewbacca over there.
I also have window motors I need to put in. Oh my god. It's go time.
Justin, are you excited?
Can you tell? I'm very excited.
A lot of money to get to this point.
A lot of money, yeah, and a lot of time.
Smelling the gas?
We good?
I don't know, you know. I didn't put these fuel rails back on, so it doesn't matter who puts them on. You never know with the O-rings.
All right, hit it. Nothing.
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 You got the clutch pushed in?
Oh no.
Hey, listen, man.
Dude. Rookie mistake. All right, I'm ready. Are you ready?
Yeah. Give it a little bit of gas. I guess we got the freaking distributor 180 out.
Ready?
Yeah. Hold on a minute. I'm going to shut it off. We are a little retarded.
Yeah. No, that's how you. That's a real term.
It is. It's a real car term, but it fits Justin perfectly.
The timing is retarded, which means that it's not correctly. It's backed off a few degrees.
The timing is way back here in the negative, and it needs to be way up here in the positive.
Uh-oh.
I just want to point out to your followers what they're gonna be this year. Yeah.
It's making your light bulb flicker.
I know. I noticed that.
Yeah, one of them's actually loose. I've been needing to replace that anyway.
So it's your right one.
Yeah.
My left.
We're doing it. God, it sounds good.
I wish we had some exhaust on.
I know.
My freaking ears are itching right now.
Alright, so we got the car running. That's awesome. I'm like baffled. It sounds so good. But we're going to crank it up again, just do some quick revs, see how it sounds, make sure everything else is fine. We did find just a little bit of an oil leak going on with one of the oil pan bolts, so we just fixed that. Hopefully that's resolved. And then we still have an issue with the water pump leaking a little bit, so hopefully we can just tighten that up. But about to start it here again. Gives it some Americas, little RPMs. We're over here having Cuddle Fest. Alright guys, so it's the end of the video. We finally got it running.
Thank God.
Yeah, thank you so much. Couldn't have done it without this guy.
He was bugging me to death to get it running. Gotta get it running this weekend.
I was so excited. Well, I wanted to get it running last weekend, and then the weekend before that, and the weekend before that.
That's
but,
right. Yeah.
I mean, realistically, I guess that we did okay. I don't know, but
I mean, yeah, we had problems with the clutch fork making contact with the pressure plate because of big ass clutch.
yeah. So as far as this car goes, this is just the beginning of the content on this channel for this car. We still need to upgrade to E85. I need to get a cage put in it. I've already got contacts for that. As far as content with this car on this channel, this is just the beginning. I mean, you know, getting a car built, you know, with this new engine and everything, obviously, it's just the beginning. But I'm going to be doing a lot of races and stuff, you know, drag racing, just driving around the street, taking it to car meets, all that kind of stuff. But there are still a few other things that I need to really do to it. So first of all, I need to get this thing tuned on E85. Right now it's really tuned for like a 331 setup on 93 octane. So it's just really not anywhere near where it needs to be. So it's not even really 100% safe to be driving it. We're going to back the timing off a lot so I can maybe kind of putter around with it and stuff. But, you know, we'll make it real safe. But I'm probably just going to go ahead and pull the trigger and do the E85 stuff. And then I'll get it tuned on that. Blankenship Tuning and Performance down in Shelbyville, Kentucky is going to be the guy who's tuning it. So I'll have a video on that. And then after that, I have plans this winter to actually get a cage put in it. So I'm probably going to go with an 850 cert cage so I can run, 8.5 seconds in a quarter mile. That's the plan. So probably not going to need every bit of that for the beginning of this build. Maybe towards the end when I get the nitrous put on it and I have the full 300 shot and everything. Maybe, hopefully. But if not, then my next build, which I know it's crazy to think I just got this one running and I'm already thinking about my next build, but that's just how I think. So looking forward to what I can do with this build, see what kind of times we can run at the track, see what kind of fun we can have, which I'm sure it's going to be a ton. God, it's been such a long time coming to get this thing running, and I'm sure there's a lot of background noise going on with neighbors and trains and stuff, but I'm so happy, you guys. If you've been watching these build videos from the beginning, just thank you so much for watching and appreciating the content and everything. So but that's going to be it for this build video. Finally got it running, super excited. And also tried out live streaming for the first time today. Had 2 different live streams, one for before lunch and one after lunch. And then the second one, you can actually go back and watch it. And then that's basically the entire video when we got it running. Anyway, if you enjoyed the content, please like and subscribe. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in another video.